Hello, and welcome to Meet Tina on YouTube here. How's everyone's doing? So anyway, what if I tell you, hello, Dr. Kevin Gyurina. We got Dr. Kevin back here again, and he's going to be talking about how important, what kind of water you're going to be drinking, or if you even know that the water can be very toxic to you, and how it is connecting to our consciousness, our emotion, and our soul. Well, he's going to be elaborating about all that for you. This is very, very important video, so you're going to have to stay tuned until the end of this video. Quickly, Dr. Gyurina is a New Jersey-based chiropractor. Not only that, he also utilizes many different healing modalities to his patients. So anyway, Kevin, I always call him Kevin anyway, because we have been friends for a while. So Kevin, how are you doing? Welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me back once again. I'm excited to be here. We've been having great conversations, and it's great to share and just get a lot of these topics and concepts off my chest, so to speak, as I see them fitting together. And we've been kept hidden from a lot of information that is very important about water and important about our body and important about our reality. And it's very well time to have more discussion about it.
I agree. And it's just so amazing that more and more people like yourself, as a doctor, came out and share all this information, because people are waking up at this moment, Kevin. People are more open. I think starting from COVID pandemic, even more opening up and waking up for people to be able to listen, and everything would make sense, especially when it comes to their health and wellness, their well-being. So with that said, Kevin, please, share with us, what you would like to let the whole world know about, water that we've been drinking. How is it important to us?
Well, it's literally one of the most fundamental aspects of life on this planet, and life and how it functions in our human body. Everything, every symptom, every state of life is connected to it. What do we have? The concept of drinking bottled water, drinking out of a faucet. But where does our water come from is one part of the conversation. Right? And how does that water come about? What's the nature of that water? Is it from a pure source? Is it from something that has been run through city pipes and through different sewage drainage areas that has to be purified? And what about the pipes themselves, and what the wear and tear of the usage of the pipes? What does that put into the water? What's being dumped into our city water? And if you have well water, what's the quality of the soil that water is contained in? How much chemicals and pesticides and herbicides are streaming into your water supply?
Oh my God, what you just brought up, my brain just went, oh my God, that's crazy, because we never thought so as deep as that. Is it from sewage? Yes.
That's part of the conversation. I want to kind of dump it all on everybody, and I apologize if it's overwhelming. But at the same time, we all know these concepts. We've all experienced these things, but there's a grand, big picture needed to be had, and then you can go about the simple steps of getting better quality water in your life. And in fact, there's simple solutions and very ingenious solutions now that people have developed, and we can then, armed with our knowledge and armed with simple actions, we can make huge changes in our life for better quality.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Well, the next thing has to do with the nature of water itself. If you pour water into a cup, it takes the shape of any container, of any glass, of any cup.
Right.
In fact, if you go back to Bruce Lee in martial arts techniques and the art of martial arts, one of the foundational principles that he shared is be like water.
Oh my God, yes, I remember that. Great wisdom there. Be like water.
Water is powerful, but water is adaptable. It changes from solid to liquid to gas to ether, this plasma state, this fourth dimension, so to speak, fourth state of existence, plasma realm. And there's these different ways we can imprint memory on water. Water has consciousness. So where it comes from, the thoughts that we have can imprint our tissues. And we've seen studies from Professor Emoto, the famous Japanese scientist, who had people doing different activities and focusing intention on certain area, on certain collections of water, and freezing them, looking under a microscope and seeing the different shapes the crystals of water would take. And of course, the ones that are associated with love and kindness and peace and tranquility all have beautiful designs and shapes. Those that are associated with anger and hatred and the worry and the fears, they're all shattered glass, jagged, broken looking images. And so the water is both influenced by our individual minds, but it's also influenced by the energies and the environments outside of us, ranging from our cell phones and Wi-Fi and radio frequencies, which themselves can be programmed to emit certain frequencies. Our music, how it's tuned, can cause a vibrational pattern in the water, and has memory of that. Water has memory of they're using it in technologies now for good and for ill. We can bring healing involved in imprinting water with different tones of love, or like in homeopathy, it's basically energy frequency medicine, and the water holds the vibration of the substance that's wanted to bring the effect of the healing result that the homeopathy professional is looking for.
Wow. That's crazy when you mention about that, because it's kind of make me think our blood is water.
Yes.
So it's a conduit. The water to me is a conduit, and we're being programmed through all this cellular phone and everything, because, our body is about 80% water. So just imagine how we're being programmed by not just our own emotion and awareness of feelings, but at the same time from exterior influence.
That's right. That's right. Well,
oh my God.
Every cell of our body has its own water within it. And then there's the water outside the cells. And that contains proteins and enzymes and hormones and different things for structure and integrity. And that's like sitting in a pool, a cell sitting in a pool. And then there's the blood system, where the water flows in and out the vessels and the arteries and the veins. And then we have, and whatever the tissue, whether it's bone, muscle, an organ, they all have different amounts of water percentage. And overall, we have a total range of, makeup of what we are as water. And it's more than half of who you are. Some estimates as low as 60%, 55%, some estimates high as, like you said, 80%. And some will argue, even if you look at what is water, H2O, well, hydrogen is one of the most abundant elements in the human body. And so some people will argue that water is a greater percentage than that.
Wow.
And these are, now we're getting into the realm of vibrational medicine, vibrational healing, how Qigong professionals can work, how Reiki professionals, how chiropractors, acupuncturists, this vibrational frequency healing is dependent upon the quality of water that's in the system. It's dependent upon how much water do you have? Are you dehydrated? It's harder to heal someone who's dehydrated than someone who's not.
That totally makes sense, Kevin. Oh my God, it's funny how all these are so simple, but can be so complex at the same time. And we never really thought about that in detail as what you just shared. This is fascinating. And you're right about that.
Well, water is life. And this is why most cultures live near the coast. The fish, the seasons, the salts that come from the water that are able to be used for different things, and where nature, everything's dependent upon water sources. Look at the deserts, look at the mountains, look at everything of this nature. And the history of water itself is based on hundreds, if not perhaps longer, thousands of years of engineering, of bringing piping water and getting water through canals. And it literally is the lifeblood of the earth. It's the lifeblood of our society. It's the lifeblood of the human body and states of consciousness.
Right. Well, God, totally, without the water, nothing will survive. Totally.
Right. Right.
And this is fascinating because, let's say our whole body is mostly water. And if we drink this water that's toxic to us, what kind of, conduit this water in our body is going to be? Because it's going to be damaged even before it's, being fed into our system and damage the whole system in our body.
Bond. You put something in, something has to respond. So whether it's a response that we find favorable or a response that we find unfavorable, well, that's for to be experienced. But when there's these chemicals in the water, whether plastics, well, it has an effect on different systems. If it's metals, other symptoms can appear. If it's bacteria, funguses, other things of this nature, there's different responses the body has. And so the game, for me, first started when I started learning toxicology is, well, how do I get more pure water? I was very fortunate. I grew up in an area where we had well water in one of the largest clean natural aquifers on the East Coast. And so I was very blessed with clean, pure water growing up. And then I had my experiences in traveling, and I remember going to my grandparents' house, and the water smelled horrible. It smelled like chemical. It smelled like all these different things. I couldn't even drink it. And
oh my God, Kevin, that reminded me because I remember I got the bottled water, and it's pretty a big brand name. And the minute I open up and drink it, I can smell and taste something chemical, not fresh. And I just kind of shocked by that. I'm like, oh my God, how come it doesn't taste or feel right? It feels like this chemical, there's something, it's like sewage water to me. In the brand name, I think it's Sparkless, I'm not sure, but it was the brand name that's been like, everybody's drinking it. And then I stopped drinking that brand for a while, so. And I remember I used to travel to Europe, and their water is sort of different. Tastes fresh and clean. So I was thinking, oh my God, even the bottled water that we spend so much money on are not that clean or fresh. So how do we know which one to drink? Or most people don't even know. And we're so used to being conditioned to drink all this bottled water. Everywhere they sell it. When we travel, we have to drink it.
It's true. There is that. And there's ways around that phenomenon. So let's just start with some basics. Bottled water. Let's say you have clean, pure water going into the plastic bottle. If that bottle heats up to a certain degree, or even simply just the water sitting in that bottle over time, the plastic material starts to break down and infiltrates that water, and then you drink the plastics. Now, some bottles are higher quality than others. And you felt the low quality ones. They're very flimsy. And there's different varieties of plastics that are used to make them. If I want to go a level above that, I'll find a glass bottle, a company that sells it in glass. Some companies, like the ones that deliver the 5-gallon jugs, they may be better. They have better purification, it seems to be. But some people still test negative to those that system of water. So where I began to investigate was water purifications, and everyone's heard of the Brita filter, and that jug you put in your fridge, and that cleans it to a certain extent. Yeah. Though there's been some food scientists that started to test all these different companies of what does the best, who does the best at purifying the water. And it comes down to two companies. One's called Big Berkey and one's called Pro Pure, or now I believe they're called Pro One.
Okay.
And anyone who wants this, perhaps this will be, I'll write this down a link.
Okay.
to somebody who has one of the top food science labs in the whole entire world. Did a very extensive review of water purification and sent the results out to to this video documentary, kind of mini documentary. And a well-known guy, Mike Adams from Natural News, did it in his lab. And but Big Berkey and Pro Pure, and this is what I use. I have a tabletop one where I just use a pitcher and fill it up, and it's 2 gallons, and I think it costs me like $200. But how many bottles of water does it take to get to $200? I've been using this, and I buy replacement filters, once a year.
Wow. Can you give me information later on? I'm going to put in description for everyone who can, I'm going to use that too.
Well, this is what I tell all my patients. And so one of the first things I want to help all the patients do is get them clean water. That's like literally the best steps anyone can do. And so I became an affiliate with all of them. I've become affiliate with mindset products, with energy technologies, with water purification, with affirmation products. These are all things that we all need. We all benefit. So I just want to be a stop kind of.
So yeah, if you kindly just send me the affiliate link for those water purification. Yep, definitely. I would love to share that, and even for myself, because I believe that we have been drinking a lot of toxic water,
Yes.
and most people don't even know. You did a lot of research as a doctor. You are someone who always, since I know you, my God, Kevin, you just love to do research, and you're very good at focusing on, health and wellness of your patient and yourself. And that's why I love about that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Well, so that's the conversation of toxins, okay? The pollutants in our water. And there's different quality filters, and there's different ways to purify, and there's more detail on that. But people can find that information very easy once you get to the right places. Now, the next component is the physical structure of the molecules of water themselves. So we have the H2O, one atom of one molecule of water, 2 hydrogen, one oxygen. Mm-hmm. But for drinkable droplets of water, the molecules of water, there's multiple of these put together. And when they go through our piping system, it damages that arrangement, that structure. And so there's these, now I don't have these. I met someone recently who has an amazing product. You just basically pour your water through it, and it restructures the water. There's companies that have these science lab looking beakers that you put water in, and the way they're shaped and the geometric structure of the bottle, it helps restructure the water. And what that does, it allows the water to be easily more absorbed into your system and used by the body, used by the system, so that it can enter with ease, be used with ease, and function with ease, and then released, urinated, sweated, all these things with ease, versus something that's not fitting quite right. The molecular structure and how it's organized has been altered, and it's clunkier. There's something called, in my world, it's called there's a reflex where the water is absorbed, and that can be interfered with people. So they're drinking water, but they're just peeing it out, and they're not absorbing it. And so although they're drinking and they're confused of why they're dehydrated, how come their body still shows these signs? Well, there's this component where the body's not absorbing the water. So that's either because of toxins or because of the structure of the water.
Well, I have heard too, like many of us are filled with toxins in our body, and we don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know if I shared with you before, I got like this food tolerance report, and I got it for some of my family members, and it shows some like chemicals and toxins in the body as well. And I would be asking different doctors, like, how do we get rid of them? But now what you just shared, it would make sense. Those water that's beneficial to our body can flush it out. And to me, I'm just thinking about like how our home, we have this piping system. And if we have like really bad toxic water run through our pipe, it will damage our pipes down the road. Where if you have clean water, it would not do that. It will preserve the plumbing pipes for a long time.
Well, speaking of that topic, not that long ago, it did make national headlines, but Michigan, and pretty much this is the nature of cities. Every city right now is that the piping system and the water treatment, they're corroding.
Yes.
And it's producing all these horrible issues in people because unknowingly they're drinking it, they're showering in it, and when water heats up, we're breathing it, and that has different effects and different implications as well.
Oh my God, Kevin, you talk about shower. I recall probably about 2 or 3 times that I remember showering and I can smell something that, oh my God, I don't know if it's like ammonia or some chemical. It's very, very strong. And I was shocked. I got out the shower right away. And
yeah, it's literally taking a bath in poison. Sadly.
oh my God, how do we get, I mean, to install the huge filter system in our home, that's like quite a lot expensive for a lot of people as well.
Or
you know,
house filter, they can range, I want to say from 2,000 to 10,000, maybe onward. But the simple solution is a shower head filter, $60, $70.
really? Okay. Would you mind just give me that too, that link? Okay, guys, we got a lot of great information here from Dr. Kevin. I'm excited because I had no idea there's a shower head that can do that. This is great.
Well, I'll tell a quick funny story. If anyone has seen the show Seinfeld, there's a crazy episode where Kramer, his neighbor, is
Love him. Yes.
with vegetables. And so here I am. I have this. I'm living in this very city-based area in New Jersey, and the water is horrible. We have the tabletop for drinking water purification, and I have the shower filter now installed. Thank God. However, to use the drinking water for cleaning all the vegetables started to become really cumbersome, and the water filter wasn't fast enough to do all that heavy lifting. So I decided I'm going to follow the footsteps of Kramer.
Oh my God, he is hilarious. I love him. I love him. I love Seinfeld. My God, that was funny.
Full disclosure, I was not in the shower with the vegetables. I just held them in and showered them.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh my God. I never seen that episode, but I saw many of his episodes and I just love this guy.
Well, I'll see if I can find a clip for you to put in the link.
Okay, please send to me because I love to see that. That was hilarious. Oh.
Well, but that's how intense it became for me to have clean water, because I recognized how foundational it was. I recognized how much everyone was drinking it. Everyone's washing their body in it. And the skin is the most absorbable organ in our body besides our intestines. So here we are. We're showering in it, we're bathing in it, we're going in pools, we're going in hot tubs. If you swim there's an area near me where there's a lake where people go swimming, and it's next to all this industrial areas, and it's
and their skin is very dry after that, or rashes after that. I have heard a lot of that, but they say it could be chlorine that caused that.
Right. There's a lot of things. Well, even go back in the movie of I think it was Aaron Brockovich.
Oh my God! Yes.
And this is where I believe there was whatever the element. I think it was a byproduct of the oil or gas industry, and literally they can light their fire on water, light their water on fire. And this you can go search on YouTube or other search engines, and you can search that term, water you can light on fire, and you'll see all these different examples because of the chemicals that are in them and other things that somehow get in there, whether intentional or otherwise.
And my God, I even wonder now, Kevin, that could it be this water that actually caused so many illnesses to people? You're talking about the corroded pipe. What about all those heart diseases? Could that even come from water itself that caused this heart disease? Right? Well, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but I'm just kind of my assumption to just kind of have these visual images of our blood, which is blood vessels is filled with water and being corroded by all these chemicals. It may not even be a cholesterol level, but it could just be all these toxins that's been flushed through our blood system.
Well,
I just my assumption, you know? I
Well,
mean, what do you
you
think of
think
that?
correctly. You think correctly. So everything. So what I want to help orient everybody with the concept here is that the body is adapting to the environment it's put in all the time. So we say heart disease. Well, what really is going on is the body has functioned and adapted as best as it can, and it can no longer do its job. Cholesterol itself actually is a protective healing response to essentially paste up holes that build up in the artery system
Right,
from different nutrients being detracted out. So, for example, calcium is a grand neutralizer of acidic blood, of acidic the body being in that acidic state. And so it draws out calcium from the blood vessels because there's a high concentration there, as well as in the bones and other places. However, it creates holes in our vascular system. And so the body puts cholesterol there to fill it up, to block out those holes so we don't bleed out. And so here we are, these chemicals and these toxins cause our body to use its reserves of nutrients, which as those reserves drain, it produces malfunction in the systems of operation in the human body. So
oh,
illness and disease are a result of abnormal function. Not that something's wrong with our body, it's just is missing essentially the gasoline, but this gasoline has 80, 90, 100 different or more different varieties of needs. So yes, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, but our thoughts and our movement and our breath and the quality of our water, all these things make a difference.
I mean, it just kind of, again, for me, not in medical field, just go back into that plumbing system at home again. When it's corroded with all these chemicals, the water's not running as fast as should be. So imagine our body is not going through different organs the way it should be functioning, you see? So it's not operating 100%, it's operating at the 50%, 25%. So many years of that, are not flowing at the full normal speed or the healthy stage. That can cause a lot of problem, like nutrients, lack nutrients, because all the
Yeah.
nutrients are not flowing through. All the nutrients move through the blood, so it's
Right.
not going to all the organs and everything. Like what you just said, all the nutrients. That's just my own visualization or metaphoric way of
Yeah.
looking at it,
Well,
right?
there's like the river or pipe approach. There's also the sponge kind of analogy I want to turn you on to. So we have our cells and all this fluid that the cells sit in, and then we have these highways of channels of the blood vessels and the lymph, and all is dependent upon the amount of water in that ratio from the toxins and the nutrients. And then it also affects the electrical signals from the meridians and the nervous system. When there's not enough water, it slows down the signaling. It's like we short circuit or it's impeded.
Oh my God. So imagine, I mean, this kind of take me into like, what about people who have all this neurological problem with their health, dementia and all that stuff, Alzheimer? Could that caused by, because they don't even know what caused it, really, right? As a doctor, you're right, you can confirm that. They don't really know exactly what caused it, but it's come
Well,
from
I'll
neuro.
say in the medical community, the allopathic pharmaceutical medical community, it seems to be unsolvable. However, in things outside of that pharmacology model, we're seeing states of consciousness. We can talk about karma. We can talk about all these things that relate to the body expressing the symptom. And yes, toxins and water absolutely play a role. So does physical injury. Though there's
Wow.
this, we have to, because, looking at some of the interviews I watch on your channel, we also have to understand the holographic nature of our universe, the holographic nature of our reality. And so the experience of Alzheimer's and these illnesses are also associated with states of thinking. Now, like the Professor Emoto experiments, if we have a subconscious thinking pattern in our mind, well, we're imprinting the water around us with that same state of consciousness, producing that shattered, like crystalline expression and therefore hard to get the water into the body, hard for the body to do
Ooh, I just got goosebumps, Kevin. I mean, I totally understand of this, but we're listening to you, even like expanding of my awareness even much more. This is powerful. This is powerful talk. This is wow. I'm gonna have to get that shower head and then the filter system that you talk about. We kind of know, but we didn't realize in extended damage that the water can do. And I'm just so glad that you brought it up for us to talk today about that, because before this talk, I didn't realize, like, okay, I mean, I know water may not be perfect, but now as I'm talking, listening to you, I can see why our health now there are very damaging and why a lot of people get sick nowadays.
Yeah. Well,
it's all from the water.
Turn it to the conversation of food. I mean, we've all had vegetables or meat or some dessert where it's dried out. It's over.
My God.
Water's out of it. How does it taste? How does it go? How does it go down? It's not. It's nowhere near the enjoyable experience of the properly simmered vegetables and the right temperature for the steak and the amount of time it's been cooked. And even the desserts, the moist chocolate cake versus the dried out one that's been sitting out for 2 or 3 days. There's something so important from taste to consciousness expressing itself, that water is a grand mediator. It takes all shapes and adapts to all situations. It holds memory, it holds consciousness, but yet that changes over time. So although we have these states with perhaps negative momentum, we can shift that story, we can shift that pattern, but that takes a period of time that extends with some consistency. And that consistency can be daily, but it can be weekly, monthly, yearly. But there's rhythms and cycles. So that's more conversation of the nature of how things unfold.
Right.
But water, something that holds that and gives it space.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's never too late to start anytime. And yes, the body takes time to cleanse out that, and even if it's being damaged right now, but we still can preserve that, our body, to last longer and to be healthy or not getting worse. I really, wow, Kevin, I'm just like, this is like a huge eye-opening. Sometimes we just kind of get bits and pieces information from different people, but what you just share, you kind of give that kind of overall picture of.
Well, it is very important to have like this look at the forest, or maybe a food analogy, a look at the buffet. You have the whole holiday spread out in front of you. However, as you zoom in, there's experts, and we could talk for a 3 or 4 day seminar on each component of these topics would fill that time. There's experts out there that have resources, and they dive super deep into this stuff. And now, like Professor Emoto, there's another professional, Dr. Reed, PhD researcher I recently came across, and they're talking about all these quantum technologies and how homeopathy works and how we can put intention. Or this is how monks pray on water, and then you consume it and you drink it. It changes you. These things are real, and science is talking about it, yet all our ancient cultural practices knew it, and they used it, and
they all do that. Yes. Knowledge. Every religion will bless the water. Even my Buddhism background, yes, they always have the monk do meditation and bless the water, and we all will drink. Yes. Or they would just spray the water on the person's, like clearing the aura, which we never been taught why they did that. Yes. But you're right. And I have a Jewish friends that's always bless the water before they drink. Right. And this is why I think there's Dr. Deepak Chopra. You heard of him, right? He always mentioned that, and this is going back into Dr. Emoto's study on how the emotion affect the water. He always, this is what I never forget, never eat when you're upset, never eat when you're not happy. you always make sure you don't have any interruption, and your eating moment should be very pleasant, very happy, because it's affecting your, digestive tissue or everything in your body. It all has to do with emotion and connecting the quantum level that heals the body.
Well, what that evokes in my thinking is we are training our brain to build the nervous system to have happiness, and then as we do that in our meal, we have that sacred time of blessing the food, of honoring the creator, and being in that alignment. That literally sets the tone for the universe to bring about experiences to your life. So are we eating that anger, or are we eating that peace? Are we eating that upsetness? Because look, I've done it too. I for many years I was an emotional eater. Pizza and ice cream was my go-to, and I could.
Who would like pizza and ice cream? I love them. Wow.
That produces a state in the human body that creates inflammation and creates problems all over the place, brain problems.
Well, Kevin, because this is, I feel food that we eat also is full of water, right? Full of liquid, the vegetable or whatever, even pizza we eat, there's tons of liquids in there. So when we set the emotion of what we're putting in the water, it's like a transmit or ignite that energy or that molecules into our body.
It's I believe I want to call it imprints. It imprints,
yes.
And then we consume it, and then it makes it so in our life. And so we build them.
I think it's why, like back to religion, Christian always pray before they eat, which I think is a good practice, and
baptizes in the Christian religion, baptism.
Wow. So that's very important to really pray and set intention, positive thing before you put food in your mouth too. I would agree that everyone should be doing that as well.
Yeah.
In order to heal ourselves as well. Wow, Kevin, this is so super amazing talk and powerful. You got my ears all like open, like, I mean, every single talk we do, but this one is like totally even got me to, I mean, I always try to get healthy water, but I never thought even how the bottled water would be so toxic, so poisonous, and how important is that to get the right filter, because not all the filter system for the water is really good from what I heard. So I'm glad that you have done the research and you found a field that you can share with the audience, and even the shower head that's filtered out. So to me, this is very exciting and very important information that you share with the people. So do make sure to send me email on that so I can put in description for everyone. So anything else, Kevin, you would like to share, or even like share your background because I know some people may not have listened to your past videos. So I would like them to know more about you, your service, and what else you do besides being a chiropractor in New Jersey. Because I know you have clients worldwide to do your podcast as well. So you need to kind of share that, because with your wisdom and your knowledge, I would like to spread my words here on this channel about your wisdom and your work, that you can help so many patients. And I'm telling you, you offer this test for $47 only on a personal. Okay, guys, he offer this like a health report for $47 only. You're still offering that, Kevin?
Well, it's only for your audience at this current point. And it has to do with the AO scan technology, which is a technology that is able to, like a radar, go through every body part, every cell structure, every tissue type, and see, is it in its optimal frequency? And if not, it shows where that is. And that gives me, as a clinician, lots of information that no one would ever be able to report. We get information that is extremely similar to a classical blood work, MRI, EKG, all these things that we've seen tested over the last 50, 60, 70 years are now at a next level of how do we use technology to detect the same things. And it's all around energy, frequency, these type of concepts. So
Yeah.
that being said, in that offer is we do the scan, I give you a breakdown of the report, and there's also recommendations for each system: cardiovascular, muscular, digestive, whatever this is, even down to your DNA level, of things that you can do at home. The top 3 things we'll find out by looking at each of the results, but then you can know what you can do at home without seeing anybody else. That way you just start engaging your body with what it really needs from something that is able to detect that.
It's
and then
very detailed, very comprehensive, and to me, it's a great deal. And you get a personal one-on-one with Dr. Kevin to help you out with your health. And you did it for me, Kevin. And I have to say it's very, very accurate, because one of them mentioned about information level, and there was number 9, which is very high, and it shows everything's fine in my body except the pelvic area. And I'm going to share something with you, which I have been having a UTI symptom since I got COVID. So I think I'm having to do with all this medication that just being flushed through in my system. So I kept having a chronic symptom, but it's no bacteria and there's no UTI in my culture. And I have been struggling on and off seeing urologists. And finally, I got your report. It's kind of confirmed what I felt, like burn information all the time. Finally, I did a lot of research. That's why you have to be your own health advocate too. And thanks to your report also, because I pay more attention, and because I didn't know if it's my bladder, my pelvic, or urethra, whatever. They couldn't find anything. Even did the put the camera in, they couldn't find anything. No information. That's what they said. I finally had a research and come to the conclusion that the food that I eat too, if it's too much acid, it will cause that. I avoided that, Kevin. It's gone. That feeling information is gone. This is just recent.
Yeah. Well,
and that also come from your report that I kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Well, that's what the reports are there for, because we don't necessarily know the cause or where it's coming from. It could be a toxin, it could be food, something in the air, it could even be a thought. And one of the things I'll suggest to you is that there's a physical experience brought to you, these pelvic issues, and then we want to look at, well, what does that area represent? And when I hear bladder or urination, things like that, well, that's the water element. So now we talk about fear and the inability to move forward, and those topics of conversation. Some other words I actually have in my pocket here. Some other words that go with that are being things that are inefficient, timid, being pissed off at things, or the concept of whatever, dread, bad memories, heavy contemplation, or impending doom. These topics can affect how those organs function in that area.
Well, that's funny you said that, because when I got COVID, I was fearful at that moment, because it traumatized my body. I was kind of like hopeless, thinking, oh my God, I could die from it. Or if I end up feeling this symptom for the rest of my life, so, and it's all emotion, which is connecting to the water.
Yeah. Well,
and that could also be water that I've been drinking.
Well,
that I'm glad we talk about. Yeah.
That is, here's the funny thing about our reality. There's a physical, there's a chemical, there's a mental, emotional, and there's a life scenario. It all happens at the same time. So these things coalesce and bring about. This is like the study of law of attraction, how the mind and the body and life all work together. And fear, contemplation, impending doom, dread. I mean, what else could getting COVID produce in you? My God. And so we really have to focus on love and letting go of these patterns. And that's what holistic healing and all these things that I talk about and other people talk about on your channel are: freeing the stressors, freeing the tension, opening our mind. And this is where we've been almost educated to death. We have to free ourselves of that a bit.
Bravo. Amen. And what is your website, Kevin?
Yes,
people can go.
drkeving.com, drkeving.com. I'm a classically trained chiropractor, graduated Palmer College 2006. From there, I became a certified chiropractic wellness practitioner, which is where I studied genetics, emotions, and how they affect the nervous system and the human body. We studied what's called neuro-endo immunology. This is basically this new science has been out for 30, 40 years of how all the systems work together, from our thoughts to our physical movement to our food, our DNA, and our environment. All that works together. So from there, I started getting into Reiki and Qigong and Tai Chi, really wanting to understand how does energy move in the body. And so I got certified in a number of methods and techniques, and Reconnective Healing to various forms of Reiki Mastership. And beyond that, there was a pause in learning. I really was exploring all these ranges of the energy world. I got into different biofield therapies and whatnot. But most recently, I'm always on the search for what's more effective, what's more accurate, what's more impactful for the client and myself too. My path is going two directions, one very physical and one very energetic. And so when it comes to the human body, structurally, the physical foundation, something called advanced biostructural correction. And it's a form of posture and skeletal reconstruction from the collapses and the injuries and essentially how people end up bent over as an old person. And then the energy world, the thought realm, the biofield realm, we have what's called neuro-emotional technique, which we talked about on one of our first recordings, Tina, and something called center point meditation. And these are all using the body's internal mechanisms to guide the practitioner to unlock stress patterns in your existence, whether in the thought realm or in the biofield realm. And all that is, and I have something else where I help people really start to incorporate trainings of different kinds of thinking. So this is work from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, different practitioners in Buddhism and religious cultures, and just the theories and philosophies of how to be a better human being. We all need some correction of how to relate with others. And
Totally.
so mindset training, there's physical body training, and there's this energy pattern release, these protocols that I help coach people, whether in person or remotely.
Well, because we are energy too, not just this physical form, so it would only make sense that we have to think out the box in order to heal, and as you as a doctor, to heal your patient, not just in the physical form, but also whatever that makes up this human being, which is also energy as well.
Well, and Tina, as you know this, my role is simply to help guide and nurture as the individual who's doing the work, because it's their story. They are the main character in their starring role of humanity here on this planet, and everyone else is a character in that. And so my job in that position is to guide and help, reorient so that you can be empowered, so that you can come up with your own inspiration through your own work, through investigating your heart and your mind and your existence, what your personal mission here on earth is to do. And then my job is to help you do that better. It's simply
It's like heal the whole system, body, mind, soul, mind, body, and soul here. Oh my God, thank you guys. I have already interviewed Dr. Kevin Gyurina about 4 times already. So we have some of his past videos. Please look it up and listen to all his talk, because each and every one of them is amazing and a lot of information that he shared with us, So look for his videos in my channel. I'm going to link into this video as well at the end of this video. So with that said, Dr. Kevin, anything else that you would like to just last word? And I just would like to thank you so much for your being here, your presence, and your time, your wisdom.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Tina, for having me back, and everyone who's watching this. You're a special individual, and you're here at this time and space and dimension right now to do something very important. And it may just be being you. And if I can help you at a better degree, then we're winning. That's
Well, the way I feel it, why I'm doing this, Kevin, you knew me about 7, 8 years now, and we met through this body and mind connection, the interest. And this has always been my interest, but I just felt like I would do this, but I just have no idea what it is. And I never push it. I never okay, I got to do this. People always tell me you need to do videos. You need to do videos. I'm like, why a lot of people are telling me this all my life, right? And I'll just tell you, from the COVID pneumonia kind of got me into this kind of doing this right now, but it's what I love to do, and connecting with people like you who have the knowledge and wisdom, different talks that help people with their mind, their body, and their soul, whatever it is, it's all interconnected. And by just bridging people to help global humanity, it's a beautiful thing, because oftentimes people do not know how to seek help. So if they come across a video and connect with your energy, connect with you, and they go, oh my God, listen to this video, Kevin. And they're like, Kevin can help me, Kevin can help my life. Even just guiding them, it's powerful, and this is why we're here. And thank you, Kevin. You're going to come back again next time. We're going to talk about what supplements, Kevin?
Oh, I don't know. We could talk about that next. The conversation of, just like water, the quality of supplements.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that, guys, because I have been taking supplements. So when he mentioned about that, I'm like, okay, I got to find out about that. That's important. So with what we discussed today, guys, a lot of information. I'm going to get all the links, all the name from Dr. Kevin's under this description. His website, his special for this lab test that he talks about, and the link to the filter shower head, also the filters for your drinking water, because it's very, very important. So critical. I'm going to get it. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Talk to you later. Bye, guys. Oh, by the way, don't forget, if you like this channel, share this video on your social media with your friends, or subscribe, click like. Until then, next video will be supplements. So we'll talk to you soon, Kevin. Bye.